So we were talking about the different types of speeches. For example, informative, persuasive, motivational, special occasion, and ceremonial, and among others. So this was the first difference among the speech and debate. So we have understood the purpose of speech. Now we will be talking about the purpose of debate. Like what is the purpose of a debate? So when we talk about the purpose of a debate, we see the main goal of a debate is to argue a position on a specific issue or topic against an opposing side. So debaters basically aims to convince judge or an audience on their logical reasoning, evidence and rebuttals, right? So what happening in debate is done between two parties, between two opposition parties, where one is going for the favor of the topic and the other is going the against of the topic. So the main idea of here is to argue, right? But in speeches, the main idea is to inform, persuade, or convey some information. So the different types of debate here we can say is formal debate. For example, formats can be Lincoln Douglas formats, policy, parliamentary policy, and informal debates, right? Moving towards the next difference, the next basis of difference is the structure and format. When we talk about structure and format, the speech structure is has specifically has an introduction, body, and conclusion. The content is pre-planned and rehearsed. The format is delivered by a single speaker. Speech is given by a speaker, a single speaker. It can include visual aids and multimedia to enhance the impact of message discussed or informed, right? Next comes the delivery. The focus is on clarity, engagement, and rhetorical devices to maintain the audience interest. So, a speech has a structure of introduction, body, and conclusion. It is pre-planned and rehearsed. It is delivered by a single speaker and is focused on clarity, engagement, and the rhetorical devices to maintain the audience interest, right? So now we'll be talking about the debate in the same point, the structure of the debate. So the debate have a more rigid structure as compared to speech. It includes opening part, opening statement, constructive speech, cross-examination, rebuttals, and closing arguments. But instead, when we are talking about speech, it has only introduction, body, and conclusion, right? So it may vary on the part of structure. And when we talk about format, it involves multiple participants, usually divided into two teams or sides, affirmative and negative. As I mentioned, the people used to either go for the topic or against the topic, right? Each side takes turns presenting arguments and counter arguments, right? Next comes delivery. It emphasis on logical consistency, evidence, arguments, and the ability to respond to opposing viewpoints. So this is the structure of debate. Moving to the next difference, the preparation. So when we talk about preparation of a speech, it involves researching the topic, organizing content, and practicing delivery. The speaker can use notes as a script. Now, it allows for creativity in content and delivery style, as there is no fixed format, so you may go for creativity in the content. Now, when we talk about debate, it requires a thorough research on the topic and understanding the side of the arguments. You have to understand both the plus and the minus of the topic. You have to prepare evidence, you have to anticipate counter arguments and develop strategies to deal with the refusals or to deal with the disagreements of your perspective, right? So there is very limited flexibility to debate, as the debate format and rules are focus on a very logical argumentation and quick thinking during rebuttals. So, in this way, we can say speech and debate are different in terms of preparation. The common thing is that in between speech and debate is that we require both research work in both the sides, right? Next is interaction with the audience. When we talk about interaction with the audience, we focus that there should be limited interaction with the audience. When we talk about the speech, the speaker may ask questions or invite participations, but mainly focus on delivering his or her message, right? So the interaction with the audience is limited over here. The immediate feedback is typically non-verbal. Either people give you a round of applause, or from the body language, smiling, or not very acceptable, not pleasant facial expression, or sometimes nodding their heads. And verbal feedback may come afterwards. So you do get the immediate feedback by facial expressions or gestures, as compared to debate. Now, when we talk about debate, here high level of interaction is required from the end of the audience, especially during cross examinations. When debaters ask questions with each other, the audience or judge can also play a role in this outcome, right? So, immediate feedback through judges, scores, or audiences' reactions, the debaters gets the feedback. Continuous engagement with the opposition side is very critical, right? As you have to control your emotions, also you have to give your perspective, you have to refuse their agreements also. So the continuous engagement becomes very critical over here as compared to speech, because in speech you have a very limited connections with the audience. You just have to focus on your delivery of the message. Now the next is skills emphasized. When we talk about speech, skills required is public speaking, clarity, persuasive techniques, storytelling, and engaging audience. So these are the skills which is required for speech, and the focus is done on the speaker's ability to communicate well with the audience, to check the connect with the audience, so that the audience may feel engaged and associated. But when we talk about debate, the skills which required are obviously the public speaking skills is also required over here. Here should also be the clarity of thoughts. Critical thinking is very much required. Logical reasoning is required, as you have to research on the arguments. You have to give a quick thinking and refutation, right? So it requires critical thinking. It focuses on the ability to construct coherent arguments. You have to check whether you are able to construct a good interpretation of the arguments. You are able to defend a position and construct and deconstruct the opposition arguments. You have to check that are you able to deconstruct the statement and the arguments of the opponents, right? So these skills are required in the debate. Moving towards the next basis of difference, that is evaluation. Now, what you have to do is you have to check that when we talk about speech, we have to take care that what is our content, how qualitative is our content. So you based on content quality, the delivery style, the clarity, the audience engagement, and the overall impact. When it comes to judgment, it's often subjective depending on the audience perception and the speaker's question answer skills, right? So, how he is handling the query, how he is answering the audience, how how you are engaging the audience. It also the evaluation is done on that basis also. Were the people feeling engaged? Were the audience were on their comfort zone? They were easily having the they were easily able to hear the speaker? Was the content he was delivering is credible? So what is the credibility of the content? How qualitative the content was? Was his delivery style was engaging? Like the audience were happy, were giving the good responses. So all these things helps into evaluation of a speech. When we talk about debate, a debate evaluation is done on the strength and coherence of arguments, like what solid statement he has made, what a good argument was there, where they came to an consensus or not, will that they came up with some judgment or not. So what use of evidences have done, was the evidence valid or not, what was the credibility of the evidence, was were they able to uh, defend the opponents, were they able to uh, like uh, strongly they state their own perspective or not, and they were able to adhere to the debate rules and regulations or not. So more when we talk about the judgment of debate, it is more objective as compared to speech, and the criteria of scoring is totally based on the arguments, the strong arguments handling skills, and the overall performance. So we can say here that there is a difference in the assessment of speech as well as debate. So all in all, we can conclude here that both speech and debate equally involves public speaking. They serve different purpose and require distinct skill set. So we can say yes, debate is different from speech, but yes, at the same time, we may also conclude that both things are used for public speaking. We have to make sure that we have done our homework, we have done our good research work, we have curated a very good content, we have a good evidence with our content. We can, when we talk about speech, we are able to engage the audience, we are able to involve people in our speech, and when we are doing debates, we are able to counterface or the opponent's statements, right? So while both speech and debate involve public speaking, they serve their different purpose and requires different skill set. But the common is the art of public speaking. The common is the confidence level and the structure of your delivery of your message. Like, are you prepared with the well organized content? Are you looking, are you aware of the time management? Or you are not able to manage your content within the time, then there will be a problem. So you have to keep a close check on time management as well, right? So speech focus, we can conclude that speech focuses on delivery of a message to inform, persuade, or entertain, with emphasis on delivery and audience engagement. Well, when we talk about the debate, on the other hand, it is centered around arguing a position on an issue, requiring strong logical reasoning, evidence based arguments, and the ability to counter opposing viewpoints effectively. So, for today, I hope this session was fruitful for you, and this will help you to understand the difference between speech and this will help you to understand the difference between speech and debate. So I would like to end the session over here. Thank you.